My attitude now, increasingly, is that always to present, you know. You're only alive now. Your life has only ever been experienced in the now. It's never, tomorrows, they don't exist actually. You know, tomorrows, they don't exist except as concepts, and mostly we live with so much concepts. Even yesterday is very, very subjective memory. Tomorrow is projection memory, projections and so on. Our lives have only ever happened in the now. Their reality has only happened. And even in the now, we are constantly interpreting and projecting. So why this happens? Habit. Habit is the most strong thing. And habit is maybe perhaps the strongest. And just not aware. I feel that each one's life is to, could be, just to discover the full potential of why you're in this body. It's like that. Why you came here. You don't have to know that, because how I've come to understand is that life in form is a certain amount of years, 50, 60, 70 years, whatever. There's no guarantee about that. But generally about this time for your body. For your soul, it's ongoing. I can even say that the soul is eternal. But eternity does not mean free by itself, you know. We say you're an eternal being. Oh, I'm so happy. No, it means that we can continue in states of limitation and ignorance, life after life. It doesn't mean when you leave this body you're going to go, we will experience a higher state of consciousness, because there's a kind of tax for being in the body where the consciousness kind of goes to sleep a little bit in concepts. And then when you drop the body, you're going to experience a much higher state of consciousness. But we will again take some form to continue to wash out the, if I use the word vasanas, you understand that? To wash out the accumulated dormant tendencies that you have to transcend in order to awaken in a complete way. So that can go on. God is not waiting or disappointed if you don't wake up. We all must wake up at some point. But the soul must taste at some point, even if in one life you come to realize you can have we can never really be fulfilled in a personal existence. We'll always want more. It's not a state that is you can attain and it stays. We are experiencing states that we wanted earlier, and they arrive, and then you want something more. It's like that in the phenomenal realm of life. The urge is there always to awaken to the fullness of who you are fundamentally. But not all beings will come to that level of awareness enough to make full use of a lifetime. You see, can just go on rolling. You may have heard about the wheel of samsara, which means that we keep going around and around. Never, always the urge of all things in the manifestation is always to evolve. We can evolve to a certain degree in the material realm, in the terrestrial realm. You understand this term? But real evolutions evolve in the beingness, meaning that you come back to the purity of being. This purity of being is always here with us. But once we take the name of personhood and personality, it hides the purity in us. and we are striving on the basis of personhood. It's at some point we come to a sufficient amount of awareness to that the quality of teaching come to you that enables you to go higher. It is good fortune to get really good teaching, but it's more suspicious to realize the teaching. Teaching by itself will not get anybody anywhere. It will help you to realize what you need to let go of, but the teaching must combust into pure beingness, meaning that teaching is not something you should keep, because even your mind cannot retain teaching. The mind also is phenomenal, and one day also it will leave, transcend. So the teachings must be that they are realized in the heart. Realized in the heart meaning that you become awake to the beingness and not just to the person. The person, we have left many persons behind. In a sense, we have left our beingness behind also. So beingness is mature existence, is when you start to recognize from the place of beingness. Now, the challenge is that for the individualized soul, we become, although we are the eternal being, when you come into the body, we all get trapped into body identification. And because of the vulnerability of body identification, we are very insecure about the body. And at the same time, there is a deep attraction to something eternal in everybody. But they don't know how. And there's the teachings have become at some point very simple, very direct, very straightforward. So I see that the teaching by themselves is not enough. The aspiration to turn the teachings, to combust it into beingness, has become very difficult because the individual soul is afraid to lose its identity in the world. That's a big mistake. Because even without this, your identity in the world you cannot keep. It's always changing. But when it comes to awakening to your eternal nature, there is fear come. There's some resistance to pull away because the individualized identity feels threatened, that it's threatened by the sense of nothingness, that I'm going to lose everything I have gained, which is actually not much but trouble. So this is the paradox in some way. But at the same time, if there is the yearning to go beyond, everything becomes possible. That yearning must be there. Because everyone who comes to satsang, if you come to satsang, it means that the possibility of realizing the self becomes alive. And when the light goes on, the light of that possibility goes on, the maya will increase. If you imagine, no? It's like if you have been paying security money to the mafia for a while, and everything seemed to be calm. But the minute you feel to escape from that, then you realize, whoa, they're not just here to protect you. In a sense, it's a kind of jokey way to put things, but it's like the Maya comes from us as well too, that resist to go beyond, because it's like a fear. We are attracted to change, and yet we are afraid of change when the change is too profound. So this is why it prolongs this seeming evolution towards awakening. If you follow the guidance that's given, it reveals it straight away, actually. But what I found is there is resistance and fear comes up with following something so direct. It's so direct. What is this guidance again? The other day I was sharing that we were going out, and I said there was a few of us in the van, and I said, before we go, let's just stop. Everyone's sitting in the van. I said, just for a minute or two, close shop, meaning, just be quiet in your being and don't feed your mind. So for 2 minutes, what's it like? We can do it even now, for 1 minute. For 1 minute, just try to be just only awareness. And let the mind stuff happen, but don't feed it, don't identify. Be aware of it, but be aware that you're being aware. Just for 1 minute, do, see? Now we can do. Do, now. There's something inside you that's not pushed about by the mind. It causes weaknessing of the mind to happen, but it is not at all involved in the mind. It's quite apart. It's conscious. It simply is. And there's no time in it. Be aware of it. Feel the energy of the mind. It's okay. Just let that be there. But also be aware that the awareness in which the mind is seen jumping itself is not jumping. Okay, so just this, what's your experience? You cannot switch off that that's going on. And it creates a sense of disturbance just by asking you, don't feed that. You're not even conscious you're feeding it. But feeding it means letting it run unquestioned. It just goes. That energy, unaware of that energy, that is the energy that is informing your life. It's in everything. It's there. Can you pluck it out? Not. If you begin to observe it and sit with it, and you'll see that it's very easy to get sucked into identity with it. Just keep coming back and be just the witness of it. It doesn't matter how it feels in the body. That's okay. In the beginning, everything is okay. Let it all be there. But recognize that something that watches it is apart from it. And that which watches it is not shaking. Keep sitting with that and sitting with that and sitting with that. And if you keep doing this, sitting, you'll find that at some point, if you're not feeding the mind stuff, if you're not feeding it, it becomes more quiet and begins to drift. Its power is reducing. You must do it. Just that you do it. And somehow, at some point, you realize that the sense of being is the most pronounced. It's being. And you know it. And in that moment, your entire being is unified. but nobody pay attention to it. We tolerate the mind stuff because nobody tell you differently. And that mind stuff is the force of Maya that is affecting your inner peace, keeping you trapped, always offering something for your attention, feeding the attention, feeding the person. So just this simple exercise, if we do, and persist, because also there's a resistance to persist in it. The mind says, okay, you've done it, it's good, see? And you're off again. But the one who will win is the one who will persist in it. It's not religion, it's not philosophy. Practical on any level you do. Observe your mind without buying into the identity of the mind. And each time you will find you get pulled into identity with it. So, okay. No anger, no frustration. Just again, cut it, keep trying, keep cutting it. And at some point, again, the energy stays here. And noise, if you don't feed it, because the mind needs food, and the food of the past, all this, the food is identity. If you don't feed it, gradually, that's called starving the mind. And starving the mind means that somehow you can begin to feel yourself as you really are. Justice. So we ain't going to call it any particular religion or any great names. Just this to do it. This is the quintessence of real seeking and finding also. When I told you this is a tree, when you put the seed in today, it grows and bears fruit. Just today like this. So I don't have to say to do this for 3 days and in 3 days time what you find it. Today you can do. And if you find the power of this growing in you, okay, then by yourself you would choose. You say, no, I have not experienced such peace, such clarity, such sense of presence before. And you stay with it. Because the Maya will start to introduce other teachings for you. Spiritual teachings, but it's only a distraction. Just do it. Because this is the key to your own freedom. But you think, yes, I read this before, maybe I'll go and look for it. You don't need. Do it. That's why this exercise are called Just Be Exercise Given. Now, Sahaja, listen, so much teachings over the years. So much exercise, so much pilgrimage, so much yoga, so much meditation. No, now sit down and do. So I put it in front of Sangha. I don't want to hear anymore your story. Your story is not important for you, not important for me. It doesn't contribute anything to the world. It's your ego is thinking that you are something special. You want to, no. Do it. If you really intend to wake up to the potential of your being, to awaken to the height of your being, then going around in this circle, then sit and do. So I feel an intelligent being, auspicious, will say, I must give this a try. I will sit with it. And it doesn't matter if you find it's so hard. You know why it's so hard? Because the fruit is so sweet. It's so hard. It's not cheap. Freedom is free. It's not cheap. You must work for it because all of us have developed very bad habits. And the bad habit is to live as though you are your mind and your person. You will never be free. Freedom means that you are unbroken happiness and peace. That only happens here, not here. You have to learn to observe this while remaining here. If you have any questions about this, those questions I will take. Everything else you will see is momentary. You try, you feel, You try something, you try. And Maya will keep on. Maya will read the scriptures to you, but it will set you up so that you will not really take it in. Hitchhiking from teaching to teaching, but to sit. Just like you cannot learn meditation from reading books. You have to sit. I'm not even going to call this meditation. Observing. Self-observation. So, all this is what I want to tell you. Try it. If you fail, tell me how you fail. This, I find, is the most direct. It's the most direct. Live as though you don't have time, because Maya will offer you time. You can do it next week, and I don't know, I'm going away in 2 weeks, I'll spend that 2 weeks meditate. You will not do it. For this you must choose and sit. And I will say, the authentic power in the universe supports your seeing this. If you want to use your time well, in a while you go off, sit by yourself for a bit. Some people, they cancel their appointments. They say, I want to sit for this, I want to give myself. If you can do for 10 minutes, sit for 10 minutes with yourself, you'll find something. Not something you can say, oh yeah, I got this thing. You'll find that you've cleared yourself of the poison of personhood. We don't realize that living only in the form of personhood is a poison. Why a poison? Because it blocks the completeness of your being. Contamination. Always a lot of concepts and intention, I want to do this, and preparing to be free and all this kind of stuff. Sit. Anybody want to take this commitment today?
Yes.
Now let me look at you, who you are. That's very good. You do. You do. You cannot fail. Fail means you just give up. No, the mind beat you up. Nah, it's not working, it's too hard, no. Find another way and stuff. That's what it means. Learn to sit. There's never been an awakened being who has not sat and tried to be with yourself, but without self-image. You do. That releases the grace of the Supreme. So if you wish to take this, I bless you for this. Bless full in the heart, and that the power in the universe, which is totally in alignment with your own inmost being, impart grace to you for this. That's all. And that is the most empowering time I can have together with you for this. Good. Thank you. Thank you.